So hi, Mike.
Hello.
Nice to see you. So you're in Connecticut, is that correct? Yeah, you're in
I
the United
am.
States,
I'm in
right?
Connecticut. This is a bed and breakfast. I don't know if you could tell.
No, I can't. So how did you get in there? Like, what's the story about this?
No, it's my room. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay, that's cool. Hey, Mike, how do you keep it sexy? Because we've seen you. You're a musician. You're doing a book. You're got these fantastic walkie-talkie discussions on the YouTube. So
yeah.
just give me your the way you keep it sexy.
I don't know, man. I feel like all anybody tries to do when they're creating something is hopefully just trying to find the easiest way to be honest. And I think I found that. And I think it's very simple. People come up to me at just when I see people out at like bars and stuff like that, and they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I love the way you cut your videos," or "I love the way you laugh at what you say," or they have all these like little nuances that they think are what kind of propels some of these videos, and I don't. I always say thank you, of course, it's very nice, but I honestly think that it's just being honest that makes you relatable and lets people like you rather than makes people like you.
How did you get to this? Like, tell me a little bit of your story, like your milestones as to like where this all began and where we are today.
I used to make a lot of music related. I'm kind of a musician first, so I used to make a lot of music related videos, whether it be just like my own original songs or cover songs, and a couple of those kind of blew up, as it were. So I was like, oh, this is how you get views on the internet. You make cover songs. And then I kind of got sick of it because like I'm a creative person, and though I was, you have a lot of leeway to be creative with cover songs, but there's a wall that you hit. And so I kind of got tired of doing other people's stuff, so I kind of just started talking to the camera more and
Yeah,
things that I
yeah,
thought were funny.
yeah.
And then to my surprise, some of those videos took off, and I was like, "Wait a minute! I can get the same amount of views." And it kind of became less about the views and more about these people who I was talking with and talking to, and I was like, you could build an audience by just being yourself, and these people like who I am, so I'm just gonna do that. And I've just been doing that, I guess.
How many years this been, or how much? What's the
Oh
time?
man, I've been on the site since like 2006 or 2007.
Wow.
I used to be a lot less frequent. Like in when it first started around 2007 or so, I would post a video just whenever. Um, I didn't really think about building uh, the YouTube audience through that. So I would post a video like once a month or once every couple months, and then I'm actually good friends with Megan Tonjes and Michael Buckley. So they
Okay.
were like, "You got to put out videos like once a week at least."
Yeah.
So I started doing that in like 2009, 10,
Yeah.
maybe. That seems like too far.
Yeah.
That seems like too far in the past. So I started doing that, and then people started responding to that. Like if people know that you're gonna show up on their computer every Tuesday, they would go to their computer every Tuesday to see you. So that's been like the most important part is just showing up when you say you're gonna show up.
The things I wanted to go into a bit more was some of your walkie-talkie chit chats, which
Okay.
really got me. I laugh out loud.
Okay.
And
I want to make sure that was good. I want to make sure that was the direction we were going in. But
yeah, and I laugh out
let's talk
loud.
videos got me really annoyed.
And
I
I
didn't want
really,
to.
no, no, and I really laugh out loud to the point where I think the neighbors so far away hear me
Yeah.
screaming and they think most likely that girl is crazy. And it's okay, but because I'm listening to you and I think, wow. So I took I took a few notes of a few sort of comments you made, and I was hoping that you can just sort of tell me more of your thoughts about a few. I like what you said once. You said, if you are happy, you are doing something right.
Yeah.
Please tell me more. That was a beautiful thing that you said.
Thanks. And that's another thing, man. I feel like these little simple things, it's not something that no one knows. It's not something that's never been said before. It's just like very common sense things that are kind of like just under the surface. And you kind of, you move a little dirt and you unearth them for people, and you're like, you know what, I am right. Like, I feel like, what's a good example? Like, no matter what part of the United States you're in, if you come out and say you're gay, then you're going to catch some flack for it, right? Because they're just, they're ignorant people who don't want you to be you, and it doesn't affect them at all. But for whatever reason, they think what you're doing is wrong, and they don't want you to be you. But if you look around your life and you're happy and you're with someone who you love, you're trying to find somebody who you love, and you love that journey, and you're working really hard, and you're always kind of being the best you that you could be, like you're right. You're, no matter what people say, like everyone's just a person, So you're a person and you're happy. There's another person who's not happy trying to tear you down. Like there's no better person. There's just a happier person.
Yeah.
So you're the right one in that situation.
And then you say something like, trying and failing makes life life. And
yeah.
Can you please continue with sort of, maybe this goes well with what you said before a bit?
So I can kind of chalk this one up to being a musician.
Yep.
I was lucky enough to work with a producer by the name of Mike Mangini, and he worked with Joss Stone. He has a couple Grammys. He found the Jonas Brothers. Like he did all this stuff, and he worked with me because we were from the same town, I think, and he liked me, I guess. So at the point where I met him, I was going from Connecticut to New York City with my band. At the time, it was called the Peppermint Trick. We were going to New York City every weekend, like twice a weekend. We were playing at like 3 o'clock in the morning, just because we thought, being a band from Connecticut, we thought we're supposed to be in New York. We have to play in New York. Doesn't matter if it's to 0 people. If somebody asks us, we could play. We say that we play in New York every weekend. And he sat me down. He's like, that's not what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you're totally spinning your wheels. And it's so important to work smarter rather than work harder.
Yeah.
And he kind of taught me that. So that is kind of what it's about. And the only way that you become like the best you possible is if you make all these mistakes and you truly understand like what's not the right way to go about doing stuff.
Right.
Because if people can tell you what's wrong day in and day out, but if you really understand like the wrong, then you'll be totally immersed in the right.
Right.
It's really easy to just work as smart as possible. So that's kind of what that's about.
So why are people afraid to make mistakes, you think?
I don't know. Everybody's afraid to fail. Everybody's afraid of rejection at some point, and then I guess you get used to it, and you come to expect it. And when you come to expect it, if you still want to move forward, you kind of know what to avoid. I just knocked half my desk over. I'm very passionate about what I'm talking about right now.
No, I can see. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone, and it's fear. It's getting over fear, and realizing that nothing is really that bad. As long as you have your health and you're alive, there's nothing that's that bad at all. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. So you're just a human, right? After all.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Can I ask a few more? Maybe one or two?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, totally, man.
My favorite one. Yes. I think this one was fantastic. Patience anymore. Nobody has patience. We all want it fast. Please. I mean, I also feel...
I feel like you should write my quote book. I don't even remember saying this stuff. You have them all written down.
No, I just...
Do you really? You need to...
I just decided...
You can make so much money.
I just feel like you've said a few really smart and intelligent and sexy things which should be shared and... like really to the world, because they are so intelligent and just so real. So I just feel that, hey, it's just a few quotes, but they're good. So please tell me why we're not patient anymore.
So I did a Kickstarter campaign that fortunately did very, very well. Yes. And I'm convinced that the only reason it did well is because I had the patience and the work ethic, and I put in all the time to build an audience. Yeah. So I had people come up to me in the right after it ended and say, you asked for $3,000 and you got $10,000, and you beat your goal within the first 17 hours of this Kickstarter. Like, you got to come and do my video,
Yeah.
because that's what they think it's about. They think, like, if you have a flashy video, people just like throw money at you, and they don't get that, like, I've been doing this YouTube thing for years, and I've been trying to figure out, like, making mistakes and
Yeah.
failing at certain things and learning from certain things, and like building a group of people that, like, I talk to. Like, I have, like, at the now I have like 22,000 friends, and it's not like, this flash in the pan thing. Like, you get one video that does really well, and all of a sudden all these doors are open. You could do everything. Like, you have to build trust with people, and you have to show people that what you're talking about is worth it. And I think it's so easy from the outside to just look at something that's doing very well and say, oh, this is doing well because of this, and I have to do this, and I have that. But they don't see, like, that, oh, this is why I'm glad we're doing video, because there's all now there's hand motions included in this. There's all these little baby steps. You go forward 10 steps, and then you fall 5. And then you go forward 20 steps, and then you fall 10. And you have to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that it's a building thing. And that's what being patient, that's the essence of being patient, is to know, like, to understand the road that you have to whatever you're trying to do. Nothing's easy.
I'd like to ask you a bit more about your book, if you don't mind. Hey, so great Kickstarter campaign. You did very well. Tell me sort of how that all came to be, and what is your big message to the world with this, and sort of...
Oh, man, I don't know if I have a broad message. I just think that it would be interesting to read. To tell you the truth, I didn't... I'm like a musician, right, first, and then I'm trying desperately to become a comedian, and, like, there's all these different roads, and I'm a writer last. Yeah. And I, honest to God, thought that writing this book would just be funny. And that was, like, the platform that I was running on. I was like, it'd be funny? I'll write a book. Like, the same way I think about doing a video. I'm like, it'd be funny? I'll talk about adolescent relationships. I thought it was really funny to write a book.
Yeah.
And then, so I started writing, and I showed it to an editor friend of mine. He was like, this is good. You should keep going and maybe take this a little more seriously. And then I showed it to a really crazy friend of mine named Anne. And she kind of convinced me. She was like, if you honestly think you're doing this because it's funny, that's BS. You're doing it because you think it's good, and if you didn't think it was good, you wouldn't be doing it. So I think, like, sitting down and it going from, like, a big joke to being I don't know, just something by the end of it that I took, like, an insane amount of pride in. I think that was a cool little journey to be showed that, that it wasn't as big of a joke as it was.
Now I'm going to do something that's unique. I think that you'll be able to take this one. I want to ask you about what you think about something that I feel shapes a lot of people's paths and stories and adventures. And I call this Unknown Factor X.
Okay.
Unknown Factor X, at least on my end, is something that happens to you when you really don't know it's going to happen, like chance. And I want to know what your thoughts are about Unknown Factor X.
Oh, this is super easy.
Okay.
Super easy question.
Right?
I forget what year it is. I think it was 2 years ago. I almost died twice in a month. I had appendicitis, and I didn't think it was as bad as it was, but what happened was my appendix burst inside of me, and that was bad. That's the first time I almost died, because that causes, like, an infection of your entire body. I actually had, without going into too much, like, the doctor at one point came out and, like, very movie-esque told my dad, like, we're going to do the best that we could do, but, it's not a great situation. So I was in the hospital for like a week and a half or something like that. And it was just a very bad time. And then I came home and I had trouble breathing. And I called the doctor. I was like, well, come in quickly because we think you might have a blood clot. And if that's the case, then you can be dead in the next 30 to 40 minutes. So I came in, and lo and behold, I had a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in your lungs. and if they hadn't caught it, I could have died. And that was obviously my unknown factor X, and it's something that I can't explain. And I've taken away so much from it, more than any experience has ever taught me in my entire life. And there's this kind of very kind of spiritual, there's this freedom that you don't know you have, you can't possibly understand that you have when you're healthy. And this experience has taught me that you are kind of just a passenger in your body. You're kind of just this little spirit just riding around in your body. And if your body doesn't feel like working, then you're not doing anything. That's it. You're done. And so I'm just kind of thankful every day that I have this ability. And then above and beyond that, I get to talk to all these people, and I'm just like the luckiest person on the face of the planet.
Well,
And
I'm lucky to speak with you, actually. So
I'm lucky to speak with you. You're from the Netherlands, and I'm just in Connecticut, and all I do is make videos. That's all I said when I was out in LA. I was like, I'm in LA. I'm now playing music with Megan Tonjes for like 6,000 people in this arena, and I'm all here. We're all here because we make videos, and how crazy that is.
I thank you for your time,
Thank you.
and really, really think that you have a great spirit.
Thank you.
Wonderful artistic talent. What you're doing, whether it's a book, whether you're walkie-talking, you've got great values, and I really wish you the best in your journey as Mike Falzone.
Thank you so much, and I thank you for being brave enough and kind enough to showcase stuff that people who think they're creative are doing. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We need you. We really need you in this world to keep.
As we need you.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Good to meet you.